Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning on this Monday, guys.
Well, my Cowboys have now lost both of their two preseason games, which is a good thing because we're going to get the losses out of our system so that we can go 12-5 when the games start counting.
How your defense look?
I told you.
How your defense look with Dan Quinn?
Dan who?
No, you told me about the defense. Oh, we got Dan Quinn.
Is that how it works? Get the L's out of the way now? Okay, I promise we'll get to the Cowboys. We're also getting to the Clippers big trade. But first, we have to talk about this guy named Tim Tebow. His debut at tight end may not have gone as well as he liked. Tebow played the second most snaps at tight end for the Jaguars, but he finished with no receptions, and this block attempt, well, it went viral all weekend, mostly for the wrong reasons. So, Shannon, give Tebow a letter grade for the block.
Let's give the block speak for itself. It's not NFL quality. It's not high school quality. It's not college quality. There's nothing, and I understand, and I see people say, well, he got the job done. That's not how it works. Preseason is an opportunity for you to work on your technique. And this is why I said, Skip, I needed the preseason. And maybe some people didn't need the preseason. But this was my opportunity to work on the technique, to get my timing, to get my rhythm, to get my breathing route right, to understand. Because you have to understand, you look at the guy that he blocked, that's not Myles Garrett. That's not J.J. Watt. I can assure you, had that been one of those guys, they would have taken Tim Tebow and threw him into the running back. I don't know if his job was to seal. If his job was to seal, you use the left shoulder. If it was the kick out, you use the right shoulder. And I understand in his head, Skip, it's hard. As a quarterback, what do you always taught? Never use your throwing shoulder to make a tackle or to make a block. You always do the opposite shoulder. So if something happens, you still might be able to play. But if something happens to your throwing shoulder, and that's in the back of his mind, Skip, but that's not good enough. I can assure you, if that was a normal tight end and he put forth that effort in a preseason game, come Tuesday, he'd be on the waiver wire.
That's not Tim Tebow.
Not Tim Tebow. No. I don't believe that'll be Tim Tebow. Because, first of all, Urban gave him that opportunity. It shows you, Skip, and that's what I've tried to tell people. Only you, Tim Tebow, and Tebow Mania thinks he's so talented as an athlete that he can switch positions at the age of 34 and legitimately make an NFL roster with nothing given to him. He would not even give it an opportunity because it's just too hard. And I get Logan Thomas, but Logan Thomas said, you know what? I'm not going to be a quarterback. I'm going to try to make an NFL team as a tight end. And he put forth the effort. That's not effort. That's showing me somebody that has no desire to block. There's another block in the game that he looked even as bad, if not worse than this. Skip, this is embarrassing. And guys are looking at Urban Meyer. First of all, they looked at him sideways when he brought Tim Tebow on. And after they see this, I don't know how many of them that saw this. It went viral. I don't know how many of them going to be in the meeting room and watch this. But if they see this and he's still on the roster after Tuesday, they're going to look at Urban as like, man, you a joke.
Think there'll be a mutiny?
I think there'll be no mutiny. Urban has Shad Khan, the owner, has given him total control.
Yep.
Urban likes to run things his way, Skip. That's why he tries to do it. He's already gotten in trouble. Brought the Iowa strength and conditioning coach on after he had gotten in trouble in Iowa and got dismissed. He tried to have these practices with the NFL says we're not going to have these practices in training camp and OTAs. Urban is used to doing things his way because he has that kind of control at Florida, at Ohio State. But there are different ways you have to do things in the NFL. But, Skip, this was bad. You know it was bad. Everybody that saw it know it was bad. You want to take back what you said, but you think Tim Tebow could not block me? Okay.
I don't, actually, because I haven't gotten to speak yet. You said, I know it's bad, but I haven't spoken a word yet. And I don't know that block was bad, but I'll explain that if you're going to give me the floor.
I'll give you the floor.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead, give me the floor.
All right. Before I launch upon this, I would like to step back and say that once again, this proves my point. No athlete I've ever covered or closely observed has ever detonated the sports world to the love side and the hate side the way Timothy Richard Tebow continues to do it at age 34 as he is trying to be a quote-unquote tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've never seen anything quite like what happened on Saturday evening. We had 10 preseason games being played on Saturday afternoon into the evening. 10 games, and they featured Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, obviously, in this game, and my man Trey Lance in another game, which was San Francisco against Kansas City, and Trey Lance threw an absolute lightning bolt of a rocket of a pass for an 80-yard touchdown.
Right.
And it trended a little bit, but this trended on top. This just got legs and was fueled by its own fire. And before I knew it, it's going to the top of the trends. And it stayed there all night long. We are talking about a block, quote unquote block, thrown by Tim Tebow, number 85, He's actually the tied for fourth string tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right. Okay, so that's the perspective of what just happened on Saturday evening. Right. And we are actually leading our show Undisputed on Monday morning with this. And I'm happy to do it because I am happy to try to make my case for what I saw on the block. And I'm obviously not an NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame tight end like Shannon Sharpe is sitting across from me. But this is what I saw on said block. I saw a third-string left defensive end named Curtis Weaver, once upon a time a fifth-round pick of the Dolphins who's bounced around, got waived by the Dolphins, wound up with the who are they playing? I can't even think who they're playing.
Browns.
The Browns, yeah, this Cleveland Browns. Okay, so he's the Browns. He's the third-string left defensive end. And on said play, Curtis Weaver, I don't know what defense was called because I was not in the defensive huddle, but he crashes down.
Right.
And I don't know if that's the defense called or if he just sort of lost his mind in a preseason game.
Yeah.
And he just almost stumbles down the line of scrimmage to his right. And he's careening sideways. And Tim Tebow is supposed to execute what I grew up in this business learning is a wham block.
Right.
That's you go in motion, and I don't know if you guys call it a wham block.
We called it wham, yeah.
Did you? Okay, because way back my early days with the Cowboys, they called it a wham block. You send the tight end in motion, and he has a designated target, and it's often that defensive end, and you have to blow him out of the hole, and you're actually the lead. You're sort of the fullback.
You're the lead blocker.
You're
basically
the lead blocker on the play. Not your favorite kind of play.
Hell no.
Right?
Because I did a lot of that.
Yeah, you did a lot of that, but you didn't love a lot of that. Okay. So Tebow, he's going down the line, and as he looks to his left, Curtis Weaver is crashing down the line of scrimmage. And I'm sure there's some shock factor, like, what is he doing?
Right.
Well, I guess I'll chip him a little bit as he goes by just to make sure he stays blocked going that direction. So he kind of awkwardly chips with his inside shoulder.
His off shoulder,
Yeah. And Curtis Weaver falls completely out of the play.
Right.
And Tebow is so awkwardly off balance because the man he's supposed to block is running away from him that he actually stumbles sideways for a second and ends up sort of banging face mask with one of his own teammates, right? Which is just completely weird. But the point is, you said that some people said he got the job done. Well, I think I was the first to immediately tweet, he did get the job done. So I'm sure they were sending that tweet to you.
Right.
So the point was, he accomplished what his designation on the play was to get that number 59, that left defensive end. He didn't really have to do anything, but he got it.
Right.
And the running back named Ogunbowale, he takes the handoff to the right, and it was a pretty good hole.
Right.
And he got his 6 yards. It was actually a 2nd and 8 play from the 11-yard line, from the Cleveland's 11-yard line.
Right.
And he took it 6 yards down, and they ended up throwing a touchdown pass on that play for their first touchdown of the game. So my point is, if you had been in his shoes, what else can you do? You might have just watched him run and just said, like, you could have cut up to the second level and looked for somebody else.
No. I wouldn't, because that's my responsibility, Skip. His job, the way I would, when I'm coming in motion, I'm looking at him, but I'm looking at that safety. The safety is telling me, well, there's somebody already there for force, this end's going to crash. But, Skip, that's nuances that Tim Tebow wouldn't know because he's never played that position.
He has never played that position.
So in that situation, Skip, what I do is I square him and I wash him down. That's what I would have done.
Okay, but by the time he turned to block him, he was sort of gone. He was like he had already run himself out of the play.
Yes.
Because obviously 59 doesn't know the play is about to go right over his gap, right through his hole.
But that's the thing, Skip. There are nuances like, things about journalism and writing and TV that when I just came here, I didn't know. But you have done this for so long, it's second nature to you.
Got it?
Me having played and I learned fronts, I know, okay, I'm looking at this front. This is what we call an over front. I go in motion and I see where that safety is. I say, he ain't got no choice because this guy's going to fill the lane. And so the end's going to what we call pinch.
Okay, so I ask you again, is it not your second line of thinking to go second level to say, if I don't really need to block him, should I just cut up the field and look for the safety?
An offensive lineman probably would have done that. He probably would have given a hand, seeing the guy taking him out of his place. But Tim is saying, hold on, that's my guy. I'm not that advanced yet, Skip, where I can give a hand. He's out of the play. Me turn up and maybe help and create another block. I don't have I'm not worried about that. That's next level. That's graduate stuff.
Okay.
So he's not there yet.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, Skip, is that was the wrong shoulder. You have to understand, in my line of thinking, Skip, I was always thinking, that might be Howie Long. That might be Bruce Smith. That might be Reggie White. And the things of that nature. And that's why I said I needed the preseason, because that was my opportunity to work on my footwork. Because those guys, let me tell you something about Howie Long. Howie Long, because I don't know if he had a hearing aid or something, but he could smell a wham block coming. These guys are really good. And they know when that trap block is coming. And when they feel that trap block coming, they say, hell with the running back. They're looking to unload on you.
Okay. Great. So here's the point. You said that any other tight end would be cut by Tuesday off this block. And I say, I don't know what else he could have done under the circumstance. He did, quote unquote, get the job done. The play went for 6 yards. Where he gets cut on Tuesday, most tight ends, would be if he faced that man up. If 59 comes head-to-head or tries to blow him up, and he tries to play patty cake with him and gets knocked 5 yards into the backfield, then you'd say, you don't belong on an NFL field.
Do you actually think Tim Tebow really wanted to hit that guy? Because, Skip, like I said, blocking, and I know people are like, well, he ran, he broke Emmitt Smith. Running with the football and blocking, moving a man against his will is two entirely different things. The question is, it's not about size. Tim Tebow is plenty big enough. Blocking is about leverage and angles. Creating a leverage and creating an angle and having the leverage to move someone. That's all he needs to do, Skip. But there are nuances. It's all about want to. When they asked me to move tight end, at the time that Dan Reeves asked me to move, Skip, I was about 212 pounds, maybe 213, 14. But at that point,
Tebow's probably 260.
Okay. Skip. And we used to do short motion, Skip, and the center would swim a nose guard. I would have to wham Joe Phillips, so I would have to wham one of the...
Like the nose guard.
Yeah. Skip, that's 300 pounds, 212.
Yeah.
But Dan would always tell me, he said, son, just don't stop your feet. Hit him as hard as you can. You're probably not going to win, but we just need you to create a distraction, and the running back's going to hit the hole quick. And that's all he has to do, Skip. That doesn't look like he wants to. It looks like he's tipping.
As in tiptoeing.
Tiptoeing, yes.
I got it. Okay, to me, blocking is just like rebounding. In the end, it's some technique, some leverage, but in the end, it's just about your desire.
Yes.
Do you have the heart, the guts?
Yes.
The desire to do it. Do you want the ball worse than the other guy wants the ball, or do you want to get that man on the ground worse than he wants to make the tackle? So in the end, the one thing I wouldn't question about Tebow, I'd question technique, but I would not question his heart for it, because he was as physical a runner of the football, certainly at the quarterback position, as I have ever seen.
Yeah.
He did not mind contact carrying the ball. Now, you could argue at age 34, he's going to mind contact of men who are big or bigger than as big or bigger than he is, but I doubt it. I wouldn't dock him for that. Technique, yes. Guts, no.
Skip, as a guy that caught the ball and ran with it, I would much rather catch and run with it than block somebody. Because you
were not known for your blocking.
No, but you have to understand is that, no, I wasn't known, but it couldn't be a situation where I never got taken out of the game because of run blocking once I became a starter. Obviously, when I was moving early, they had Clarence Curry, Orson Mobley, guys that were more qualified to block, especially the younger. But as I got older, Dan's like, excuse me. Dan Reeves used to say, son, you're going to have to get better at blocking. He says, because it's a telltale. When we take you out, it's a run. We bring you in, it's a pass. We're going to have to be able to find a way to keep you on the field so they don't know run or pass. And Mike Shanahan told me once he got the job, he said, either you're going to do the job or we're going to find somebody else to do the job for you. But you won't be here.
Okay, so if you had been in Tebow's shoes, as you turn to make the block and you see him crashing up the line, you do what?
I'd have washed him down.
Washed him by doing what?
Just square him up.
Okay, but he's gone. You can't square him up. He's running away from you down the line.
But Skip, that's why they slide him in motion. That's why you normally, Skip, if you watch everybody the way they go in motion, we used to go in motion and we never squared our shoulders. Now, if you look at him coming in motion, he's sliding. He's square. So he can see. So once they snap the ball, he see him disappears, I go right along with him.
Okay.
If you watch Tebow, look, he's square, Skip.
Okay. Did he not chip him in the right direction? Did he not keep his momentum going the wrong way for him?
But see, that's what I'm saying, Skip. If he's going to, once he sees him wash, your job is to seal him. You put your left shoulder on and seal him. So that way he can't spin back over the top. Okay. So you put your right shoulder on him, he could have spun back over the top.
Okay. He looked completely out of the play to me. When the play finished, he was quote-unquote blocked. Now, he blocked himself out of the play because he ran himself out of the play. But did he blow the play out? No. He had nothing to do with the play.
But Tebow has to look at it like this. If he were to make this roster and he's going to be asked to do this, guys like that aren't going to be playing. That's going to be Myles Garrett.
All right.
That's going to be proven guys. Okay. That's going to be Joey Bosa.
Okay, so what we didn't get to see was Myles Garrett stand his ground or come unblocked face-to-face, mask-to-mask, nose-to-nose with Tim Tebow, and then we'd see what was what.
Well, the thing, D linemen, Skip, when they see people disappear, they know something's not right. Because, first of all, you're not going to block me? Oh, so you're just going to let me have a clear pass? So their intent is already up. So he's already thinking. And so the moment he sees the tackle disappear, he's looking, okay, who's coming? He sees Tebow, he's attacking right now. He ain't going down the line. He's attacking right now.
Okay, but he didn't attack Tebow.
No, but
I'm just saying, this guy, Curtis Weaver, I hate to even keep calling his name. He's the third-string Browns defensive end. So it's unfair because that's the stage of this game that Tebow was thrown into.
But that's what I'm saying, Skip. But this is where your technique comes into play because that's not going to be Curtis Weaver. Okay. Those are going to be Joey Bosa or Myles Garrett, and that will get you.
You can't, quote-unquote, cut Tim Tebow for a play that got made, even if it was awkwardly made. It was just bizarre because I don't know what Curtis Weaver was doing, and you don't either.
Hey, Jim, we got the other play? Can we run the other play that we show? This is what I'm talking about, Skip. Now, look at this. He's off the ball.
Yep.
What's that, Skip?
I don't know.
Oh, he has the cutoff. That's all he has to do. And he's already off the ball, Skip.
Okay.
Head down, man down. So now the guy, the guy
looks like he tried to block two guys.
No. That's his guy right there. The guy's head up. The guy's in what we call a 7 is a 7. He's not a 5. Now, 5 shade, I get that. That's a hard block. That's what J.J. Watt plays. That's what Aaron Donald. They play what we call 5 shades. I don't want to get too technical with that, but that's an inside out. That guy's what we call a 7 shade. He's not a cowboy. You know the cowboy front end, which is a wide 9.
It is.
This is what we call a 7 shade. Slight outside of the tight end.
Okay. I do not believe that Urban Meyer, I told you this from day number one, moment number one on this show. I do not believe that Urban signed or brought back Tim Tebow at age 34 to be an every down tight end. I don't think you'll see it. I think it's subterfuge. I think it's sleight of hand. Excuse me. I think it's misdirection by Urban and Tim. I think they're keeping under wraps the Tebow package of plays that will feature him as an H-back sort of tight end moving into the backfield, where he might take some wildcat snaps. This is all on short yardage or goal line.
But I thought you said he was going to be like a Taysom Hill. But Taysom Hill play punt. He plays punt return, kick return. He'll block. He'll throw a pass. He'll catch a pass. He'll run with the ball.
I never said he was exactly Taysom Hill because he can't run like Taysom Hill.
No, he doesn't have Taysom Hill speed. But Taysom Hill made the team, Skip, because of special teams, because of his willingness to tackle, to block.
Okay. How many special teams reps did Tebow take on Saturday? He took none. He played 16 plays, but it surprised me a little bit that none were special teams because I thought they might want to ease him into special teams just to show the rest of the roster he's paying his dues.
Right. That's what I said. The exact same. So we must have been. Your ears must have been burning because I'm saying, hold on. How can you keep a third-string quarterback that's going to play 5-6 plays a game and he doesn't play special teams? Because Skip, the positions are valuable. You know, you only dress so many. Do I need an extra wide receiver? Do I need an extra run? Do I need a cornerback, an extra D lineman, extra offensive lineman? So, Skip, the positions are so valuable if he can't give me value on special teams, because a lot of your backup wide receivers play special teams. Your backup linebackers play special teams. So if he's going to be the third stringer and he's going to be what we call a jack, do some of everything, Skip, he's going to have to play special teams.
Okay. So, did they feature tight end routes for Tebow at all? Did they show him? Did they throw him any 2 or 3 yard passes where you could say, "Let's just get him in the mix"?
I don't even, Skip. I don't really know. Darrell Bevel. When I think about it, how tight end centric is it? It's not like Kansas City. It's not like what they were in New England, where the tight end was heavily featured. It's not like the West Coast, where the tight end, you look at San Francisco, you look at Kansas City, and you look at some of these teams that run the West Coast offense and how heavily featured the tight end is. I don't know what their offense is, so I don't know how prominent the tight end would be featured. In urban systems, did the tight ends catch a lot of balls at Florida, at Ohio State? I don't think so.
Not to my knowledge. Right. I don't remember him having star tight ends where they featured the tight end.
Other than Aaron Hernandez, but
he was more H-back.
Right.
He would line up in the backfield sometimes.
Right.
So we had a couple. We had one official target to Tebow. If we could see the 2 throws, I don't even know what to make of these. There's one that gets knocked down, batted at the line of scrimmage a little bit. Here's one that's.
That's not him. I mean, the ball got tipped.
Okay. The ball got tipped.
Yeah.
He got one hand on it. Not sure what to make of that one. And then this is the tip. Here's the next one. This is Tavon Austin. It looks like this might have been intended for Tebow, who was open on the play. But Tavon, what are they both in the same? Somebody went the wrong way. Somebody ran the wrong route.
I thought at the beginning when Tebow's released, I thought it was a clear, and then they run the dagger. You know how some people skip, I run you out, and then we got the in-breaking route. But I thought Tebow looked back and saw Minshew step up. So he's like, well, I'm going to pull up. I'm wide open. I'm sitting in this hole. Well, if they got the route call, which is a clear dagger in behind, you got to keep going because the dagger is coming in behind you.
Yep, I'll buy that.
Like I said, without knowing, Skip, that's what it looked like to me. If I'm just looking at it, I'm like, okay, Tebow got to clear. They come in with the in-breaking route, what we would call a dagger route in behind it.
So that's the extent of his night.
Right.
In a game in which starters played almost none and many starters didn't play any at all. So he did pay some dues in that he was thrown in with a lot of 3rd and 4th stringers who obviously will not make the football teams in the final cut.
Right.
So I still
But that's what he should have been going up against. He should, I mean, you wouldn't put him in, Skip, you wouldn't put him in there with, I mean, a guy that's never played that position, and you're like, okay, I'm going to see what you can do against their starters. You wouldn't do that. You let him try to get his feet wet in a situation like this, understanding. Hopefully the tight end is talking to him, and it's hard, Skip, because the technique that you try to display on the dummies and on the practice field, you hope to be able to take it over to the game. Doesn't always work, but you can normally survive with technique.
I will be fascinated to see if in preseason game number 2, which will be this year's dress rehearsal game, Tebow gets more snaps, and if you see even glimpses of what I think will be the Tebow package of short yardage goal line, where he will carry the ball, maybe even throw the ball occasionally.
I don't think, Skip, me personally, I don't think if that's going to be the case, I don't think they reveal any of that.
They might not.
All right, that's a good point. We're going to leave Tebow for now. That was good, though. A lot there, guys. No mercy. Well, the Lakers made headlines with Russell Westbrook. The Clippers have now made their own big move. They have reportedly acquired Eric Bledsoe from Memphis in exchange for Patrick Beverly, Rajon Rondo, and Daniel Oturu. So, Shannon, will this trade help or hurt the Clippers?
Skip, I don't really see how it helps them that much. Bledsoe is a very good defender. I think Pat Beverly is a very good defender. He can score a little bit more than Pat Bev. But the regular season hasn't been the issue for Eric Bledsoe. It's been the postseason, Skip. In Toronto in 2019, he shot 29% from the floor, 17% from the three. They move on. He goes, and then, in Miami, 2020 in the bubble, Skip, 33% from the floor, 21% from the three. So that seems to have been his problem. The regular season, he plays well. It's come postseason time, is that when he struggles. Now, Milwaukee to the Pelicans to the Grizzlies like, nah, we got a backcourt. You figure they got Dylan Brooks. It's gonna be interesting what they do when Pat Bev comes on. Skip, you remember when the Clippers got Kawhi and Paul George, and Pat Bev told Steph Curry, the last 5 years were yours. These next 5 years mine. Does that carry over to Memphis, or does the clock stop and starts all over again? I just think the thing is, Skip, for me, I don't really see how this aids the Clippers. The Clippers are big too. Paul George and Kawhi. This is what we don't know, Skip. If and when Kawhi is going to play next season. Is it going to be in March? You believe it's going to be sometime in 2022? Does he take the entire season off? Because if he takes the entirety of the season off, you and I both know they're not winning a championship. They're not going to the... I feel comfortable in saying that. If he comes back, how healthy is he going to come back? Because the thing that KD did, Skip, is that KD took off, and even when they went to the bubble, he said, nah, I'm good. I'm going to get me a couple, 3 more months and come back 100%. And I'm not so sure that they might be lying, because KD, the way KD look, I can't tell anything was ever wrong with KD.
Yep.
So that's what I'm looking at, Skip. It doesn't move the needle. Your guy, playoff Rondo, I told you it was because of my guy, and you had the nerve to talk about he should have been Finals MVP over GOAT James.
Really should have been. He made all the key plays. You wouldn't have won it without him.
Yes, Skip, but I'm saying I don't know. Are they going to keep Rondo in Memphis, Skip? Because it seems to be he wasn't that enthused about being in Atlanta and trying to mentor Trey Young. Is he going to be interested in mentoring?
2 expiring contracts, right? And that's what Memphis views both Rondo and Pat Bev as, expiring contracts.
Yeah, might go ahead and get up off him. But Steve Ballmer, Skip, they said this saved him $25 million.
30
million?
Yeah.
Steve Ballmer's worth $100 billion.
He could buy the whole NBA if he wanted to.
And he can get the whole NFL too. Yeah, get the whole NFL
he probably could.
But Skip, here's the thing, though. What I'm looking at, Steve Ballmer, if Steve Ballmer's worth $100 billion, people, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ballmer's worth $100 billion, and he's saving his money, what the hell should you be doing? Unless you're worth $150 billion. So Steve Ballmer told me something. I'm saving my money because he's looking for change under the seat cushions. Because he get up off of those two guys. Pat Bev was the longest tenured Clipper. Now that if I'm not mistaken, Skip, that belonged to Zubats. But to make a long story short, I don't think this move moves the needle for the Clippers.
Zubats used to be a Laker.
Man, go ahead.
You miss him right now, don't you?
I would like to have Zoo.
Yeah, you would. Okay, my turn. I tweeted this last night that I was going to sleep on this and try to love it.
Okay.
And I must admit publicly, I cannot love it. Okay. On issues of this ilk, I always go on my immediate gut reaction because it will tell you, deepest down in your psyche, that little voice will say yes or it will say no. And that little voice of warning deep in my psyche is screaming at me still, big N-O. I don't get it. And if you're trying to tell me that Steve Ballmer wanted to save luxury tax money, then we're all in trouble.
Yes.
And the Clippers are in trouble because that means he's just given it up and decided it's nothing but a business venture instead of something that he will throw every last penny at to win a championship.
You think he's been told Kawhi's going to miss the entirety of the season?
You could argue that because this move smacked of we don't really care because if you keep Eric Bledsoe for 1 year, he makes so little money that you could get rid of him after next year and clear more cap space so you can make a big new run going into 22 season.
Correct.
Okay, I get that, but I don't want to give up next year because next year to me is, again, the year because the window is closing on this team. Right. It's closing on Kawhi. It's closing on Paul George. Right. It's closing on Marcus Morris. I still believe this team had one big last run left in it. And I love Pat Bev, and you know how much I love Rondo because of the edge that they brought to the basketball team. I'm talking edge in the locker room, edge In the sideline huddles, edge on the basketball court. It's edge where you come in. They are not the player that Eric Bledsoe is, but they are playmakers.
Right.
That's what they do. What happened in the playoffs? I know Rondo wasn't nearly what I thought he would be, but Pat Bev was.
Yeah.
Did he not make plays?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Did he not somehow cause, foreheads to meet, and Devin Booker winds up with
a broken nose? It seemed like a broken nose.
Right? So my point is that's a play made. Not that he intentionally did it, but he is so physical and fierce on defense that he just disrupts, he distracts, he bothers, he torments on defense. And it bothers the other team enough that he's getting into it with Chris Paul. It's a distraction that I will miss next year, because Eric Bledsoe has made all defensive teams. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So on paper, in a vacuum, he's a much better defender than either Pat Bev or Rondo.
Right.
But Pat Bev and Rondo just make plays.
Right.
It's Pat Bev making that play, the play on Christmas Day. I'm going back 2 years ago.
Right.
LeBron's about to go up to shoot a potential game-time three, and he gets the ball on the way up, and LeBron fumbles it at the top of the shot and loses it backwards out of bounds, and the game's over.
And didn't he knock the ball off somebody's fingers in the playoff this year?
He did. That's Patrick Beverly. That's who he is and what he does.
Well, he'll fit in perfect with Grizzly Skip. They call themselves the Grindhouse.
Okay, I know.
So he'll be perfect
maybe
for
he
them.
will. Maybe he'll be good for the kids. Maybe he'll show them how. And Rondo shows everybody how. And I'm going to miss him, because I just think he's a guy that you like having in the mix. He fell out of the mix. And it's also possible, and I don't know this for a fact, it's also possible that both Pat Bev and Rondo have such prickly personalities that they were button heads, because they're kind of the same guy.
Well, Skip, you remember, hold on, I forget what game it was. Rondo passed Kawhi the ball. Kawhi shot it, and Rondo looking at me
over to him like,
what was that? I mean, you shot that.
Yeah.
And so we see, the thing is with superstars, Skip, they're going to make it, the organization is going to make it as compatible as possible for them. And anybody that ruffles those guys' feathers, look at Trev, look at Lou Williams. They got those guys up out of there because...
Out of there. I agree. And Rondo is just difficult.
He's just
difficult
Rondo.
to coach, and he was difficult for Ty Lue. And once he started falling out of the rotation, I'm sure off the floor, there was chaos to be dealt with, right?
Because just Skip, a guy like that, a young guy, if Terrence Mann doesn't play, but you're talking about Rondo, has led the league in assists, that's been to an all-star game, who's gone to 3 finals, he's won 2 of those, and he's DNPing. That's not going to go over very well with him when he says, you traded for me and you told me this is what my role was going to be.
And what did Pat Bev do after the final gun? He took a headlong running start
he had Bush League move on CP3,
CP3 right in the back. Trust me, Jerry West, who oversees this team, the logo, he's going to sit back and say, not on my watch.
Right.
I just don't play that. That's not how we do business.
That was a Bush League move.
It was so Bush League. It might have been the end of Pat Bev, just the way Rondo challenging Kawhi after the miss at the buzzer. That might have been the end of Rondo. So you can argue that they just sort of they blew themselves up in the eyes of the top brass of this team. Maybe Lawrence Frank, maybe Ty Lue, maybe Jerry West. They just said, okay, enough is enough. If we can dismiss and get rid of both of them at once and bring back a very credible player, 2-time all-defensive team player, who did that one year in Phoenix, averaged 21.7 a game. That works.
But Skip, the thing is with the Clippers, Rondo is a very strong personality. Pat Bev is a very strong personality. That's not Paul George. That's not Kawhi.
Nope, I agree.
So if you
That's what I liked about them. But I thought they needed the stronger personalities to complement the superstars' sort of type B personalities. They're not takeover leaders.
But we never saw this from Rondo with the Lakers, because LeBron is a dominant personality in and of himself.
I will agree. But LeBron did ingratiate him into the flow to where when it was time for Rondo to make plays and shots against Miami in the bubble, he made big shots. I would sit back and say, how did he do that? I thought he couldn't shoot, right? So in the end, if I just look on paper, Bledsoe is also very durable. He's missed a grand total of 12 games over the last 3 years. That's 4 games.
Well, you know, Rondo and Pat Bev going to miss games during the regular season.
They're going to miss games. Pat Bev missed 37 games last year, and something's always wrong with Rondo. He's got a hamstring or something.
Or hand, something with his hand.
Something's wrong. So I give you that. But here's what scares me about Eric Bledsoe. If we count what happened on draft night, he got traded Oklahoma City to Clippers. Mm-hmm. He was the 18th overall pick out of Kentucky. If we count that, he's been traded, this is 6 times. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's unfair, but Sam Presti had him in his lap on draft night and said, you want him that badly? I'll take him for you guys, right, and we'll make our trade, right, okay? So he got traded that night and 5 more times, including this return to the Clippers.
Right.
He's been traded 6 times.
Right.
What does that say? Does it tell you something about a player that people keep saying no to him? Like, we're okay without him. We're okay. Doesn't that tell you he's just not that good?
Skip,
not that impactful?
The playoffs.
I agree.
Is what, because the Clippers,
well,
Skip,
2019 and 2020, he was a disaster.
29% from the floor?
I got it.
17% from the three?
That's why I opened this up by saying a big N-O to this.
Yeah, I don't see how the Clippers got better with Bledsoe. I'm not saying he's a good player, Skip, but the Clippers are going to base their success on playoffs, where he's been abysmal in the playoffs. We've seen games, Skip, he go in the regular season where he has 30 points. But come playoff time, I can't do anything with 29% from the floor, 17% from the three, 33% from the floor, 21% from the three.
Yep.
How the hell does that help me?
Remember that Friday night game? I'm going back, this may be 3 years ago. You lost a couple of cases to me when Milwaukee came to L.A.
Yes.
It was 3 years ago.
Yeah, he did it.
And he did it, and it was the day he had got a big new extension.
Yes.
He was the featured interview of the night, probably on ESPN, I think the game was, after the game.
Right.
And he was just on fire in the game and after the game about, I got my big new deal. And if you told me that night he had become a Clipper, I'd say, way to go. But how many of those nights has he had?
We had any of those nights since. But Skip, I don't know. Maybe this is very telling to me for about, luxury tax. If somebody told Steve Ballmer, you're going to need to be in the luxury tax for the next 5 years, but you'll win a championship. It's hard for me to believe a man that pays basically quadruple what the original asking price for the Clippers were, and what he's mortgaged, what they've mortgaged to get Kawhi and to get Paul George. It's hard for me to believe that Kawhi is going to play at some point next season.
You could be right, but I've been told he's on schedule to have a shot to come back March, April, and get ready for next year's playoffs.
Right.
Okay? So they might have just written that completely off, because they also receive, as part of this package,
mid-level exception.
It's a new one. It's $8.3 million. It's a traded player exception. You could use it this year, or you could keep it on the books going into 22.
Right.
Which they may well be saying, we're playing for 22.
Right.
If that's the truth, then I'm out, because what I keep saying, just one time, I need Clippers, Lakers in the conference finals. And to me, if Kawhi could come back even 92% next year and be ready for the playoffs, then would this not be the perfect year for Clippers, Lakers? Because the window is closing on the Clippers.
Yes.
And these older players, even Ibaka, he was gone the whole year with the back injury, but if he could have one last hurrah, he can play. He can shoot it. He's got star power to him, but I don't know how much longer this current nucleus of the Clippers is going to last. Not that much longer.
You said the sources have told you that there's a chance that he could come back March, April. Knowing what you know about Kawhi.
It's not his nature. I got it. He invented load management. Actually, Greg Popovich invented load management.
When
he thrived on it.
You load manage a guy at 21, 22. What the hell you think he's going to be doing at 31, 32?
And by the way, he just got his security, so he got paid over the next, well, it's really 3 years.
It's really
with
3
an
years,
option.
yes.
But he's good to go.
Yeah.
So there is no financial motivation for him to play next year. Am I right?
No.
Okay.
And he doesn't strike me as a guy that wants to chance it. I'm going to make sure I'm 100% and move forward from there.
I will miss Patrick Beverly. I will miss Rajon Rondo. I will miss the electricity, the edge they provided for this team. And in the end, I'm sorry, I tried. Clipper Nation, I can't love this.
We might even get Rondo back at the Lakers.
Oh, so now you're interested.
Might get him back. Because he played well for us. Because he understands.
Now you're admitting the truth.
Basketball minds.
Thank you.
Skip, I didn't say he didn't play well. I just said he wasn't the MVP. That's all I said. I didn't say he didn't play well. You try to take it to the next level, you're like, oh, yeah, he played well. He should have been finals MVP. No, he shouldn't have.
You would not have won without him.
Oh, my goodness.
Although,
well, the Clippers couldn't win with.
Injured, I don't know.
Who?
Who?
Who was injured?
The Heat.
Ah, man,
they lost their two best players in Game 1. Way to go.
All right.
Congratulations, cubic zirconia.
We're going to be watching this Clippers these moves play out, guys. Let's talk about Skip's other team here. Dak Prescott continues to show progress recovering from his right lat strain that has limited his training camp activity. He warmed up before the Cowboys preseason game against the Cardinals, but still did not suit up to play. And after returning to Dallas, Dak underwent a second MRI that showed the strain healing well. So that's the latest. Shannon, now, do you expect him to play against Houston on Saturday?
I don't, although this is very positive news for Dak. Skip, I think the thing is like when, you'll be down for a couple of days, and a couple of days pass, and I don't feel any better. It's like, Skip, the doctor tells you, oh, yeah, you'll be out for a couple of weeks, and then here it is a month later, Doc, I don't feel any better. What the hell's going on? Well, the training staff told Dak, you'll be down, you'll be back throwing in a couple of days, and everything will be fine. And here it is 7-10 days later, and Dak's like, I don't feel no better. I'm not back throwing. I'm not back practicing. So what's going on? They get the MRI. The injury is healing. It's on schedule. You're going to be fine. With that being said, Dak's mind is at ease. Stephen Jones has already said, Skip, I think preseason's overrated. Dak don't really need this. I'm more concerned about September 9th. So knowing that this game, Game 2, is the Game 3 in a 4-game preseason. This is the game where you game plan and where you try to show some of the things that you're going to be able to do in the regular season. I still don't see Dak playing, Skip. I really don't. He's only been throwing for a couple of days. That means you'd have to ramp up his throwing to get him get comfortable where you like, he's comfortable throwing, but we're not overtaxing him. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And I definitely don't see him not playing in the final preseason game. Even though the way they did it this year, Skip, the preseason game, I think they play like on a Sunday, and then they play not the next Thursday, the following Thursday. So they almost got 2 weeks in between the last game, the last preseason game and the start of the regular season for them. But I don't see a scenario where Dak plays. I think they've made it clear they didn't want Dak to play, although he wants to play, because he said, look, guys, I missed 11 weeks, 12 weeks last year, and here I am, let me get something. But my gut tells me Jerry and Steven are going to put the kibosh if Mike McCarthy even attempted to put Dak out there on Saturday. Would they play Saturday? I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Once again, I do not love this. I don't love any part of this. And once again, I'm not sure what to believe about a second MRI.
Right.
It has been reported, it has been leaked, if you will, by the Cowboys that it was clean, no problem, showing progress.
Right.
Haven't heard that from Dak's lips.
Right.
And when I first heard about the second MRI, it came straight from Dak Prescott. He volunteered it in an interview, shockingly, just after I'd seen him in Tuesday night's first episode of Hard Knocks bragging about how he kept his second surgery on his ankle away from the media. Now you're telling the media I need a second MRI?
Right.
Why? And by the way, biggest picture, this is still the weirdest quarterback injury I've ever heard. I've been doing this for a long time. You played for a long time. We've never heard of this kind of injury suffered by a quarterback. A lat strain.
Right.
It's more of a baseball pitcher's injury. What is going on? We hear about dead arms in camp, sore arms in camp because you're throwing
elbow, shoulder,
but not this.
No.
Not a strain that bordered on a tear of a throwing because you're overthrown with your upper body because you're afraid to lose your lower body.
Not pushing.
I don't know. All I know for sure is this. I am old school about this, but the proof is going to be in the pudding or the throwing on Saturday night. I need my quarterback to play 3 or 4 series. I need him to play the first quarter, depending on how it shakes out. I need at least 3 good series just for his psyche, just to get him back out there under fire in battle where he can say, I did that. And it's as much for his ankle as for his his arm.
But what if they come out there? What if they have him dressed out, and before the game they put him out there and they put him through all the things, they let him do some of the things that he could possibly do in the game, but don't let him play in the game? Would you be okay with that?
No, because there's nothing like those live reps.
You better believe
Who played
that.
on Saturday night for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? A 44-year-old quarterback. He didn't play very much.
Right.
But he got his feet wet again because he just wants to feel what it feels like to get out there as the game speeds up a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't speed up to regular season and certainly not to playoff speed.
Right.
But it speeds up.
But they are hitting.
They're hitting. Things are live. Things are happening around you. And there's no way to get better at football other than playing football.
1,000% correct.
Right? You have to do it when it really matters. You can do all these camp scrimmages with another team that you want, but it's a little bit half speed.
Right.
And you can't hit the quarterback, and you can't hit.
Right.
And everybody's the reason the fights break out is because somebody got a little overzealous and went a little too far and hit a little too hard.
And sometimes, Skip, in actual game, a situation won't arise that the coaches won't, and so he'll like, look, the next series we're going 2 minutes. And I'm like, hold on. Dude, it's the first quarter. Why the hell are we going 2 minutes? He says, because you guys are going to come out. You're not going to be in much longer. And I want to see 2 minutes in an actual game situation.
Okay, I got it. So Tim Tebow gets thrown into the fire against the third and fourth stringers, and something happens that probably wouldn't happen in practice. He's designated to block number 59, and he crashes down. Well, this is something you can't simulate in practice. It's crazy. And you're like, what do I do? Do I chip him a little bit and just try to move him on down the line? Do I give up on him and go to the second level? Well, Tebow's never been faced with that before because it was live action, extemporaneous. Crazy stuff happens that you need to experience under fire just to get your RPM back up to speed.
That's why I said I needed that. Because in practice, Skip, they're actually telling the guys, okay, here they're holding up the cards. Okay, here's the card. This is what I want you to do. I want you to crash here. Safety, I want you to go there. Cornerback, I want you to play it like this. That ain't what that guy gonna do in the game. Ain't nobody telling him what to do. They call the defense, and he's gonna act accordingly. He's gonna react according to what you do, not what someone told him to do.
Okay, as you keep pointing out, Dak Prescott has not played a down of football since the 5th game of last season.
Correct.
It's going to be a long, long time, all the way to September 9th. He has not played football, and now he has a career-threatening ankle injury that we hope is going to be 95%. And now he's got an arm issue that once he cuts loose under fire with the lights on, will it hold up? Will it strain again? Will it tear? I don't know. He needs to figure this out for a quarter or so on this Saturday night at home. If they were opening up on the first Sunday of the NFL season at home against Cincinnati, no offense to Cincinnati, but
someone other than Tampa.
Other than Tampa, I'd say, okay, maybe you can figure that one out. You're at Tampa on a solo stage game on opening Thursday night against the defending champs. They are dropping the banner on your head in Tampa. It's the only game of the night. You're on stage, and they want to make a statement. It was no fluke what we did.
Packed stadium, too.
Packed stadium. We got fans in the stands. We got a defense that went to Drew Brees and went to Aaron Rodgers and did a number on Patrick Mahomes, and they said, we shut him down and him down and him down. And now Dak Prescott's getting thrown into that fire on a hot, sweaty summer night in Tampa.
Did you see how many guys Tampa already got in the top 100?
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
And we don't even know the top 50, right?
No, they down to 41. We got all the way to 41,
well, that's what I'm saying. We're just that far into it.
Yes.
So,
but you figure they got I think they had 6.
They had 6 so far, right?
With Tom to come. I believe they get Tom and maybe Gronk. I don't know if they get anybody else, Skip.
Was Mike Evans in there already?
Yeah.
He was already in there.
Mike, and Chris Godwin, JPP, Shaq Barrett.
I thought Shaq Barrett was way too low. I thought he should have been much higher. But I'm going off the playoffs instead of last year. He was a little quiet during the regular season. But the point is, that defense came of age right before your very eyes. Todd Bowles' defense, and they are all back. And the secondary was very young. You don't think they're ready to breathe some fire on opening Thursday
I don't know if y'all going to have that many, because I saw Zach Martin up there. I don't know if y'all going to have anybody else, Skip.
What do you mean, anybody?
On the top 100?
Oh, in the top 100.
You think y'all going to have anybody?
That's just motivation.
Motivation. No,
Tampa earned it. We didn't earn it. Right?
Okay,
I need nobody in the top.
Okay, I'm just checking. Yeah. So you want Dak to get a series or 2 Saturday night against the Texans?
I'd like 3 or 4 series.
3 or 4?
Just to say he's fine. Okay. He's got it. Just to get him back in the flow of real live action. I need it.
Just sitting over here, listening to you, you sound worried.
I'm very worried.
I have never heard you like this before.
The irony is I have to wait for tomorrow night's Hard Knocks to get my news because I feel like they're the ones who are going to break the news. Maybe Dak will tell them that the MRI wasn't nearly as clean as the Cowboys said it was because it seems like they're a little at odds over that.
So what do you think the chances he plays Saturday? Less than 50%?
You know what? If I had to bet on it, I would bet on your side of this. I'm just telling you what I need to see. I need to see him play because then I'll know for sure the arm is okay. And then if he survived the 3 or 4 series, I would know for sure that the ankle is going to be okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think I would put him out there along with the starters because I want to see those guys also.
So do I.
And get your spidey senses and get a feel for where guys are.
Yeah. I mean, how much can you protect Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and
Lyle Collins?
How long can you protect? You got to play them a little bit.
They got to play.
Yeah. Other coaches have different, like Andy Reid the other night, he was playing his defense. He's playing his starters for 3 series. Like he's just saying, we're going to play.
Right. Football players play. And who's to say that, we get in the preseason and get in the regular season game, you don't get hurt. But you can't put these guys in kit gloves and lay up, got pillows on the bed. No, this football.
Yep.
It's a collision sport. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when people run into other people at a very high rate of speed, bad things happen. But you got to prepare. I believe that has a lot to do with the injuries that we see, Skip, because nobody hits anymore.
Nope.
In practice, so your body's not used to that.
Yeah, I told you what the great Leroy Jordan out of Alabama, middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, once told me. I got hurt when I was trying not to get hurt.
Yes.
Okay, that's the whole point of this. If you plant seeds of doubt in the back of their minds, we're going to protect you. Well, then they finally get out there in a regular season game like, I know it's going to come now, right? Well, just forget about it.
That's
just
it.
go.
Just play. Play all out. Just play as hard as you can. I know I was going to play 10 plays. Mike's like, okay, starters, you got 10 plays.
Go.
We going 100 miles. We going 100 miles an hour. And if we look good, we might only get 5 or 6 plays. Hey, Mike, I've seen enough. Mm-hmm. You guys are out.
Yep.
But you can't go out there tiptoeing because you tiptoeing and somebody else is trying to make a team. That's going to end up bad for you.
Dak play Saturday.
You need to talk to Steven and Jerry. You don't need to talk to Dak. Mike McCarthy got no say in this. You know that, though. So so you need to talk to Steven and Jerry.
All the way to Jerry for this one.
No mercy.
Well, LeBron isn't wasting any time welcoming Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. LeBron posted on social media the 2 All-Stars getting a workout in Saturday morning, and then that night made a courtside appearance at the Lakers Summer League game. Shannon, do you like what you're seeing from LeBron and Westbrook?
I love it, Skip. These guys have really never played together outside of an All-Star game, Skip, and so you figure out, okay, where he likes the ball, where I like the ball. You get an opportunity to work together. The thing that we know about LeBron, Skip, is that he's a diligent worker. He's been off since, June, the first week of June? So he's had 8, 9, maybe even 10 weeks off. Now it's time to get back to work, and he's getting back to work with a new teammate. Why wait until we start training camp to start working with a guy like Russ? Let's get a head start. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, say, in the next week, AD shows up and gets in some of the workout actions. Skip, look. LeBron has heard everything. I do not believe this is a natural fit. But LeBron James and Anthony Davis went to the higher-ups and said, we would rather have Russ than the trade that you want to make. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. It's more important to us to have a competitor of champion. He's never won a championship, but Skip, the one thing we know about Russ, he is as fierce a competitor as that they have in the NBA. And LeBron says, I'm willing to work. I want to work with that. I'm willing to sacrifice my game. AD, I'm willing to sacrifice because I believe this is a piece that can help us get to another championship. So I love what I'm seeing. I'm not surprised because, LeBron was already getting that work in because you saw him, as a matter of fact, he did 10 minutes balancing on the ball. 10! Some kind of Guinness Book of World Record. You hater.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah, you didn't need to.
Are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. This is brilliant early strategy by LeBron James. I commend him for this. I compliment him to the highest degree because this is exactly what he needs to be doing with Russell Westbrook. He needs to be ingratiating him into LeBron's inner circle because LeBron he's a good guy. He's fun to be around. And he's obviously an all-time great player, and Russ has that respect for him right now, but he needs it to go into love, like where they develop a deeper personal connection.
Right.
Because that's the only way you're going to survive with this guy. I'm here to tell you, LeBron, it will not work. But it's a great try, and I love this early strategy because you invite him to Las Vegas. You don't take AD because that would be the trio. That would be the three of you. And sometimes those triangle relationships don't work because you get closer over here. He right away he's saying, well, you're much closer to that guy than I'll ever be close to you. But this is just Russ and LeBron with Phil Handy, who's their assistant coach, who LeBron's very close with, and he's a good man, and he's a wise old basketball head. So he's going to run their personal workouts. Right. And then you take Russ, just the two of you, to the Summer League games so you can make a grand entrance and sit in the
That must be a new thing now, because I see everybody showing up to the Summer Leagues.
I know, but you're going to get a lot of pub out of it. And then you post it. And you need to go all the way to, you use the weirdest nickname in sports, the Brody. I still don't get it. I don't know the
But that's what everybody called Russ. I don't know how he got the name.
But, well, I've read all the theories on it. There's the Wire character, but that was Bodie, not Brody. And that J.D. Williams, who played Bodie in The Wire, looks something like Russ. There's some connection there. But he's never talked about that, so I think that's not it. And a lot of people think it just was a neighborhood term, Russ growing up in L.A., where bro became Brody, you know, like Brody, but where the came from, I don't know. But now Russ calls his Maltese. I got a Maltese, too. Love it. Hi, Hazel. How you doing? She watches every second. She does not like you. I'm sorry. She just does not
you don't like anybody. Tell the truth.
She does not like anybody, is the God's truth.
You and Ernestine.
And Ernestine's sister, and that's it. Period. End of story. But her sister helped raise her, too. So that's all she does. But the point is that he calls his Maltese the Brody, and he calls his brother the Brody, and he's the Brody, and LeBron is using the nickname. He's got all the emojis for lab work with the Brody, okay? Well, that's cool to Russ, you know, where he's showing him love and respect, like we're together, right? Because you need this guy to be not only on your team, but sort of under your spell, where he is so respectful of LeBron that he will pay the prices and the sacrifices that you need to win with LeBron and Anthony Davis. I love the strategy. It's a very smart thing. And then, of course, he used the sarcastic line. I agree. I don't think this will work. That's LeBron just being sarcastic in what he posted, where we all know he's saying to Russ, then he ats Russ. Like he's saying, no, we are going to show him it will work. Because it wouldn't work with Kevin Durant, and then it didn't work with James Harden, and it never quite worked with Paul George because once he had his escape hatch, he jumped right out of it. And even there was the ESPN report that Kawhi Leonard, Russ is trying to call Kawhi, take me to the Clippers with you, and he wouldn't even return his calls, and snaked him and turned right around and said, hey, Paul George, he wants out. Why don't you come now with me, right? So I named 4 great players. KD, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi all did not want to play with Russ. So you don't think LeBron's saying, watch this. It's part of the potential success story of next year is, I'm going to show you I can win with the guy nobody else wants to win with and couldn't win with, right?
I think the thing is, Skip, the other guys were all trying to prove something. I believe KD could possibly play with Russ now because KD's a made man. He has championships. He has finals MVP. None of these other guys, LeBron has that, championships, finals MVPs. So he has those things on his resume intact. So, and Russ is like, and Russ knows, and I heard Russ say, well, he don't have anything to prove. The only unbox that's not checked on his resume is a championship. He's led the league in assists. He has the most career triple-doubles. He's been an MVP of the league, Skip. He's been an all-NBA player. Now, can you finish it off?
Okay, but he also has these accolades. 3 times he's led this league in turnovers. 4 times he's second in this league in turnovers. It won't happen
this year.
4 times he has led this whole league in usage rate. How much do you have the ball in your hands?
Watch him this year.
4 times he was second in the league in usage rates. That's 8 times, 1 or 2 over the last 8 years.
And one time, and watch him this year, one time NBA champion. How about that one? Well, you ain't list that one over there.
It sounds good, but it's impossible.
It ain't impossible.
This guy, you know what I believe, and I'm going to speak for Kevin here, and he'll go crazy on social. I don't really care. But I believe if you got Kevin Durant on a lie detector right now, he'd say, oh, I love Russ like a little brother because he was my little brother.
Right.
But this man, you just can't. Once he gets on a basketball court, who knows what he might do? You can't control what he might do.
Haven't LeBron proved everybody wrong? They say there's no, when he was 17 years old on the cover of Sports Illustrated, there's no way he could possibly be that good. He's the #1 pick overall in 2003. There's no way he can live up to all this hype.
There is no way he could be 4-6 in NBA Finals. 4-6?
For one man?
6?
For one man to go to as many as NBA championships, but all but what? The Lakers, the Celtics, and maybe the Warriors. He's 4th on the list, and he's an individual. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
There's no way he could miss the playoffs as a Laker, right?
It happened. Skip, it happened. It happened.
Okay, so I think this is the perfect strategy for LeBron, and I think Russ will just love it. He will accept it,
That's right.
Russ will be. In fact, I think you're in jeopardy. You're going to lose your 5th horseman status within the confines of the inner circle because you have doubted Russ and LeBron. I compliment you. I honor you for it. But I think you just lost your cachet.
There you go.
I think the bridge just got burned.
I love how you try to do that.
I'm not trying. You did it.
Skip.
I didn't tell you to say that.
You didn't. I said it's not a natural fit. And I still don't believe it is a natural fit. But I also believe if anybody can make this work,
I will give you
I didn't think Kyrie and James Harden. But what they showed me is that you can make it work if everybody is willing to sacrifice. Well, James Harden was willing to sacrifice the way he played in Houston and not go get you 50 and a 50-point triple-double. Kevin Durant is the only one that didn't need to sacrifice because Kevin Durant can go 28, 30 points on 15 shots. So that's all he needs anyway. Kyrie said, you know what? I get up off the ball. I'm a scorer. Y'all gonna let me score, do my thing? Okay, I'm cool with that. So the question is, what role is Russ going to be the point? Russ going to be the 2? LeBron's going to get off the ball? That's the thing. Once they determine how this thing's going to be played, we'll go from there. But, no, I don't think it's a natural fit. But I do believe LeBron James, old MacGyver, LeBron, Ramon, MacGyver, James. You remember MacGyver?
I do.
What couldn't he do?
Make little gadgets out of nothing, right?
Home was lost. They like, man, they done got MacGyver this time. Ain't no way he coming up out of there.
You realize MacGyver was a fictional character.
That's it. There you go. You always trying to ruin everything.
Every script he survived. Somehow he survived in the end. This is real life NBA basketball, and LeBron will not survive this.
He will.
Because Russ has what I call the haywire gene in him. He's supremely gifted.
He just needs to be reprogrammed.
But he does. And I think LeBron, even the great LeBron James, cannot reprogram this man. He is at heart, just bull in China shop. At the end of the game, he just loses it. He goes haywire, and it's just dribble, 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 attack, and maybe get fouled and go to the free throw line, and Westbrook both free throws.
Oh, you didn't know? LeBron James is only a couple of semesters away from graduating with a coding degree from MIT. Oh, he can solve a code? Reprogram anything. Watch this now. Now, you know, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear nothing about, they got lucky and this happened. Because when we get that Larry O'Brien, which we will get it.
No more bubbles.
It don't matter.
You can't blow any bubbles this year.
Oh, can
you got to make this work with a guy who is unworkable.
No, he's not.
He is unfixable.
No, he's not. No,
he has shown he's been in this league for too long. What's he up to? 13 years?
Probably 14. Who cares?
He's going into 14.
Yes.
It's just too long. He is who he always was.
If anybody can make it work, Skip, you know, sometimes we've been I don't went to this doctor. I don't went to that doctor. Go to him. If he can't tell you what's wrong with you, go ahead and make your final plans.
So
if he can't figure it out, that guy there on the right with that yellow mask.
LeBron is still the best passer in basketball. He needs the ball in his hands. He needs to initiate. He needs to distribute. And that disqualifies Russ from being the point guard to the two guard, where he can't shoot a lick. He's a basic below 30% three-point shooter. You can't live with that.
Well, guys, so what we do? We get him layups. We get him those 10-footer, 12-footer, bank kiss shots off the glass. That's what we do. We put you in a situation where you can't do anything but succeed. That's what we skip. Do you understand how we do this?
You're going to wind up with LeBrick at point guard and Westbrook at shooting guard, and you're going to be in trouble.
Skip.
And LeBron's going to say, I tried. I gave it my all.
We wanted the credit
repair. I took him to Summer League, and it didn't work.
You come see us. You got bad credit. Come see us. Let me tell you, we going to tell you what you need to do to clean this credit up and get you on the road to 750, 800, and possibly even 850. That's what we do.
What Russ does is triple doubles, and that won't work in this attack.
We got this.
Yep.
Now, I want you to have that same energy.
I will.
When we beat the Clippers down. I don't want to hear nothing about Kawhi out there and Paul. When we beat you down, and we will beat you down.
I got Eric Bledsoe.
Okay.
Sorry.
Eric Bledsoe, Drew Bledsoe, it doesn't matter. Your day coming.
No mercy.
Over the weekend, Aaron Rodgers led a charge on social media of Packers players calling for the team to re-sign linebacker Clay Matthews. Rodgers posted a picture of Matthews with the caption, "Bring him back." Despite the strong support from the players, Packers GM Brian Gutekunst says the team has had no discussion about bringing back the linebacker. Shannon, should they give in to Rodgers and sign Clay Matthews? What's going on?
Hell no. If this ain't no class reunion, no family reunion, we bring people back to get together because we haven't seen you in a long time. You want to see Clay Matthews? I think he's out here in California. Drop by and pay him a visit. But the Packers let him go for a reason. If they thought he could continue to play, they would have kept him. He's been out of football. Nobody picked him up last year. I thought he had a decent season with the Rams. His one and only year with the Rams. He had 8 sacks in 13 games. That's not bad. But for whatever reason, nobody called him last year. For whatever reason, no one has called him this year.
They have not.
So, but this ain't about no getting the band back together. Because I believe Brian Gutekunst and the Packers believe getting the band back together, he can no longer sing and he can't play an instrument. So, the band is moving on. We got somebody else to fill. That's why they got the Smiths, Zadarius and Preston. That's why they took Rajon Gary. So they feel very comfortable with the linebacker position and the play they've gotten from it. Zadarius Smith was a top 100 player. He's been the Pro Bowl player. So for me, Skip, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I get it. They brought Randall Cobb back. Randall Cobb has an injury history. He's been nicked the better part of his career. He was nicked last year, had 30-something catches for 400 yards. They've appeased Aaron Rodgers. But I'm not all about this sentimentality. This is professional football. I'm trying to win a game. If you want to get together and hang with your friends, go to Kentucky Derby and go to Vegas, do that on your time. But you're not going to do it when I got to pay for the guy, and I don't believe he can help us win.
I am so proud of Shannon Sharpe on this show. He just took on LeBron James in the previous discussion, and now he's taking on his man Aaron Rodgers, saying just shut up and sit back and play quarterback, right? Oh, yeah, it should say, can we take, we're bringing back on a minimum contract. Can we take some of your money and give it to him? This was the shock that hit me, was that Rodgers typed these words, as Jenny read, over a photo that he posted of Clay Matthews. He typed in all caps, "Bring him back." Well, that doesn't come across as a request to me. That comes across as either a command or a demand, one or the other, however you want to slice it, because that is strong. Bring him back, Packers, as if Aaron is now flexing his new authority that he gained by, quote-unquote, threatening to hold out or threatening to force a trade.
Skip, this is like a record executive. We already know you got one more album to do, and we're not going to re-sign you. We already know you got one more season here. Nah, we're not acquiescing to any demands.
Interesting. So, Aaron, I said, didn't really pull off what he was trying to pull off, because you thought in the end he would force a trade maybe to your Denver Broncos.
Correct.
Who both their quarterbacks, I watched some of the game and played okay. Drew Lock looked pretty good in that game.
Minnesota didn't look good at all.
I agree. But the point is, you needed Aaron Rodgers in Denver.
Yes, that would have been very nice.
And I don't think he had designs on going to Denver at all. I think he just wanted to accomplish two things: to turn himself back into a sympathetic figure.
He wanted to be a martyr,
Yeah, a martyr for Packer Nation, because he fell to 1-4 in NFC Championship games and stunk up the fourth quarter of that game. And his coach took the ball right out of his hands on fourth down and said, "No, we got to kick a field goal here to cut it to 31-26 because he had stunk it up on first down, second down, and third down, once again in a big NFC Championship games. That's back-to-back losses for Aaron Rodgers and company in those games. And he managed to flip the script in the offseason, and he's now back in the great graces of Packer Nation because he was threatening to force his way out of town.
Correct.
So he pulled that off, but he didn't get the money I thought he might get.
Right.
They just said, no, this is what we'll do. And you can leave after next year, when I think they might be happy for him to leave after next year, because I did watch Jordan Love the other day, and he finally banged up
somebody tweaked
his shoulder, and I think he's going to miss their camp practice this week and probably the next game. But I thought he threw some big balls where I sat back and said, wow, that'll work. So I think he still is the future of the Packers. It might be next year. It might be 2 years from now.
Right.
But maybe he has to sit for 3 years the way Aaron did behind Brett Favre.
But Skip, the Packers can't let just Aaron pick his friends and have them hang out on the team on my dime. Well, I want to put players on the team that I can feel help us win.
They threw him a bone with Randall Cobb because Randall Cobb played for my Cowboys 2 years ago. He was okay,
he's okay.
But he didn't light it up. He didn't change life in Dallas. And to your point, he was nicked last year in Houston and was just kind of also ran.
Right.
Nobody even knew he was playing last year, right? So he got him back. And you have to be careful, because what have I always said about players? The greater the player, oftentimes the worse the personnel director, because who's the ultimate? It's Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Right.
Greatest player ever in any sport. And he's proven to be, I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure I can back this up, the worst GM, operator of a franchise in the history of this league.
Well, all might be forgiven. He did get mellow. So that he might be forgiven for a little while.
I hope so.
But Skip, this is pro sports. Yeah. This is all about winning. And I get you got friends, but if they can't help me win, what they got to do with anything?
Yeah, and by the way, to finish off the Jordan, I was there when he would just go after Jerry Krause.
Yeah,
you got to go get him.
Oh, he wanted Al Wood. He wanted this guy. He wanted that guy.
And they all seem to have played at North Carolina.
Yes.
Your favorite school, right?
If you think about it, Skip, look what did he do when he got to Washington? He went and got Jerry Stackhouse. He wanted to stay. He wanted Stack.
Yep, I got it. He can coach, though. He can coach my Commodore.
Yeah, but right? I'm just saying, Skip, this doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Rajon Gary, I'm like, what? We not good enough?
Yeah, that is true. That will create some dissension.
I mean, what are you talking about? Need him to do what?
Yeah. And again, Clay is 35 years of age.
Yes.
He's probably seen his better days. And he's not even as old as Aaron is. So, again, I think Packer management is sitting back. And this is all aimed at, I'm trying to assert myself and my autonomy and my new authority over Gutekunst. And he's very open about we're trying to fix this relationship, right?
Brian Gutekunst ain't trying to fix it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm good.
He said, we have had no discussion.
Exactly.
About Clay
so that's the way, and I don't think Gutekunst or Mark Murphy has social media, so they're not on it, so they didn't get this. Only people that's on IG were able to see this. I don't think either one of those have IG, so that went unnoticed.
So now in back-to-back topics, Shannon Sharpe has criticized LeBron James and Aaron Rodgers. Thank you very much for your objectivity.
Let me ask you a question.
It is blindsiding to me that you're that objective.
How did I criticize LeBron?
What did you have for breakfast?
I just asked you a question.
Honest? You had honest
I had
skills,
egg whites, chicken, and a burrito. But anyway, that's beside the point, Skip Bayless. How did I criticize LeBron?
Well, you said it's not a natural fit.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not criticizing LeBron.
Well, it is.
But
you should have just embraced it and said, oh, this is a great move. Because LeBron blessed it.
But that ain't got nothing to do with me, though, Skip. Okay, like I said, he believes it is. I'm looking at the way Russ has played his entire career, looking at the way LeBron plays his entire career. I don't think this is a puzzle that fits.
Okay. The truth is, the first time we ever speculated about this happening, maybe 2-3 weeks back, you backed yourself into a corner because you said this will not work.
I said I don't think it works. Okay. I don't.
Okay.
But what gives me like okay, Shannon, maybe. I said the same thing about Brooklyn until I saw them actually do it, and I saw guys swallow their pride and their ego to make it work for a common goal.
Yep, I agree.
Can they do that?
Yep. So back to Aaron Rodgers, he did tell Peter King that, and Peter was a little shocked by this, that he thought going into last year it would have been his last year in Green Bay.
Had he not won the MVP, I believe it would have.
I think that worked to Aaron's favor because it took a lot of pressure off him because he just sort of gave up, sat back, and said, I'm just going to enjoy the ride. I'm not going to take anything that seriously. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. Result, he won the MVP with no pressure.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, first of all, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's always going to have pressure because the expectation is to compete for championships. So that pressure is going to be there because once you win a title, the only thing else that matters is a title. That's why Tom Brady, when you look at Tom Brady's numbers are unimportant. Once you set the standard, it becomes the standard. Championships.
7 is important.
That's it.
8.
So once Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl, yeah, the MVP is nice, but he's always going to have that pressure. All these quarterbacks that's won a title, Patrick Mahomes, and because he's won one so early, Skip, that's the expectations every year. And every year he doesn't win a title. They're like, man, he's slipping. Man, I don't know what's gotten into Patrick Mahomes. That's just the way it works, Skip.
From what I've seen of my coach, Mike McCarthy, Aaron winning a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy, that's even greater than maybe LeBron winning a championship with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
right?
hey, you see. You see.
I don't know how that happened, actually.
Yeah, you talk about, I got a made man. No, you got a guy that got made by two other men. Yeah, he adopted. He ain't made. He had 2 all-time great quarterbacks.
Yes,
so we're gonna see how well he can coach moving forward. Yeah. Because I think we gave him too much credit for Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, well, I just hope he has his starting quarterback this year.
I don't believe, you want to see him play on Saturday.
Yes.
And I just don't believe that's going to happen. And I think you're going to come in here and be disappointed on Monday.
No mercy. Trey Lance had up and down preseason debut. The rookie quarterback had an 80-yard touchdown pass, but also finished with only 128 total yards on the day and completed just 5 of his 14 passes. Kyle Shanahan summed up his rookie's performance by saying, quote, there was some good and some bad. By no means was it perfect. That was a statement. Shannon, did he show you enough that he should start over Jimmy G?
No. And I don't think he will start over Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G is going to start the season. Now, given Jimmy G's history, Skip, and his turnover history, I'm not so sure he finishes the season, given what we've seen of him since he's been in San Francisco. He's injury prone out the yin-yang, and he's a turnover machine. So with that being said, and you look at the schedule, Skip, the first 2 games are on the road. Now, I believe they'll be favored in both games, at Lions, at Eagles. Then they're home Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals, which are division games.
Tough division.
I don't see Trey Lance starting now. Obviously, Jimmy G gets nicked. Jimmy G's not performing well. They believe, Skip, they have a playoff caliber team. And most playoff caliber teams will tend to go with the incumbent, the veteran, and if he falters, bring the rookie in. So I believe that's the way they're going to do it. And Kyle is right, Skip. He had the 80-yard touchdown. He has a great arm. All the rookie quarterbacks, Skip. I saw some good things. I saw some things, okay, you're a rookie, I get it. You're a rookie, you're going to make those mistakes. But I thought all the quarterbacks displayed. Justin Fields, very nice arm. Trey Lance, very nice arm. The kid up in Wilson, up in Jets, nice arm. Show all these guys have nice arms. Mac Jones, we know his anticipation is what's going to get him by. And in that situation, Trevor Lawrence also. Trevor Lawrence, nobody's thinking Jacksonville going to the playoffs. Nobody's thinking the Jets going to the playoffs. So those guys should start. But when I got playoff aspirations and I got a veteran quarterback, New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers, I think those situations are different than Jacksonville and the Jets. So therefore, that's why I believe Cam starts the season. I believe Jimmy G starts the season. But I believe both of these guys on very, very short leashes. They're not going to have, Jimmy G is not going to be able to turn the ball over like he did and keep his job. Cam is not going to be able to play like he did last year, Skip, and keep his job. But to answer Jenny's questions, I believe Jimmy G starts the season.
He well might. But if I ran the 49ers, which I obviously do not, I would start Trey Lance because I told you before the draft he will be the best of these young quarterbacks. He's got the biggest arm of these quarterbacks, including even Trevor Lawrence, who has a nice, easy, effortless sort of velocity.
Yes.
This kid can really wing it. And this kid got thrown into the fire on Saturday evening at home against Patrick Mahomes' team. And you don't think there was some pressure because Patrick played just a few plays like Brady did, but you don't think there was some pressure looking across the field at Patrick Mahomes warming up like, uh-oh. And then Trey gets thrown into the fire against Steve Spagnuolo, who played his starters for the first 3 series. They all played like 11, 12 snaps, where he did have to contend with a starting defensive unit for a little while, while his offensive line was all backups across the board. So what's Spags do to him? He blitzed the hell out of him. He was coming after him. He went down 4 times, and 3 of them were just flat-out blitzes where somebody came completely free. And the kid wasn't ready for it because not only did he get no help from his running backs, but I think he was under strict orders from Kyle Shanahan. You will not run the football. We're not going to call any runs for you today. I want you to survive this. I want you to get out in one piece. So let's not do anything crazy, extemporaneous. Let's stay in the pocket and see if we can master the pocket before we master broken plays.
Yeah, because I'm trying to hold all the cards close to my vest. I'm not trying to show you anything that I may or may not be doing during the regular season. So when I do it, you're going to be as shocked as everybody else is. But because anything that you put on tape, oh, don't worry about it. They got that.
And I had him down, officially it was 3 drops that they dropped. But I thought there was another one that was a drop on a slant route that I thought the receiver got both hands on. But whatever, it's 3 or 4 drops that he suffered. So all I know is that the play of the night, except for Tim Tebow's block, but the offensive play of the night was the spectacular touchdown pass, if we could see it one more time, because this is what you look for from these kids in a preseason game.
That's an Elway special.
This is an Elway special. This is roll left, plant, square up, and throw a rocket all the way across the field to, oh, wait, that's Trent Sherfield. Guess where he went to school? Vanderbilt University.
Go ahead.
They're everywhere. Vanderbilt dominates. If it's MLB, NBA, NFL, every time you look up, it's somebody from Vanderbilt.
If that's the case, Skip, why can't y'all win the SEC then? If y'all dominate football, y'all everywhere, why can't y'all beat Bama and Georgia?
Because we're not as deep as they are. We have the talent at the top tier. We don't have it in second and
y'all got one player, Skip. Y'all didn't beat Alabama with one player.
But way to go, Trent Sherfield. But that was a throw.
Yes.
That was one of those that raise your eyebrows and you say, oh, he can do that?
For a quarterback to roll one-way, Skip, and throw the ball clear back across the field, outside the numbers, the other side of the field, he got arm.
Okay, and even though at that point they had the second-string defenders in, that Deion Key, who he beat, number 24, he's a strong safety, he's undrafted out of Western Kentucky, but he has been the rave of camp. I keep reading about Deion Key, this and that, like he might be a starter by game 1.
Okay.
So my point was, that's who he beat on the crossing route. But again, it was almost like not fair because you're running with Trent Sherfield and you're thinking, well, I got him. He can't throw it this far. He can't throw it this far. And all of a sudden, a rocket goes right over your head for a touchdown. Here we go again. And he threw another ball out of the end zone that raised my eyebrows if we could see the next one, because not only did Kyle let him throw it from his own end zone, but this is another rocket to the tight end.
Flow pass.
30 yards later, boom.
I may or may not have caught a couple of these.
Have you?
I have. We call that flow pass.
Okay, which means what?
Back to the flat, tight end on the 7 route.
Okay.
So you watch the back, block, get to the flat, tight end on the 7 route, which is a corner.
Okay, when I was watching this live, it took my breath away because he just effortlessly went kaboom and just hit him right in the hands as he broke up field for 30 yards. Okay, that will work. And I stress to you, this young man can run with the football if needed.
Yeah.
So I watched Justin Fields, and Justin Fields had a heck of a game. He also had some good and bad.
Right. Yeah.
There was some bad in there too. He wasn't. consistently accurate, but he went 14 to 20 for 142, a touchdown and no picks. But he ran the ball 5 times, did Justin Fields, for 33 yards. And he had 121-yard, and he ran for a touchdown, 8 yards.
Right.
Well, he was using what God gave him to use. He got to use his legs as well as a terrific arm that he has. And it worked for them because he just lit it up. When in doubt, he could take off. Well, at some point, Trey Lance, trust me, he will take off.
But Skip, the thing is, like, when you go into a preseason game, you're really not scheming. No. So they're not saying, well, you got to watch it, you got to make sure you hold this backside because this guy can run. You're just playing base defense. You're not trying to do anything fancy. You're just trying to get out there, work on your technique, play hard, get off the field. Hopefully everybody comes out injury-free. That's all you're trying to do. So actually, Justin Fields was playing it like with an advantage because they don't really play for the quarterback to run in the preseason. Nope. And Justin Fields like, oh, it's man free.
Oh, really?
And y'all gonna turn y'all back on me? Well, I'm just gonna go out the backside.
Yep. And he threw a touchdown pass that was just a trick play where they got the tight end wide open.
Yeah.
So good for him. But that's another one.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's another one where this is just me. I'm old school, or I'm different school on this one. It's like Peyton Manning, they just threw him in the fire, said, okay, lead the league in interceptions because you're going to be great.
Right.
So get it out of your system. We're going to figure it out.
Right.
To your point, San Francisco is a very good team in a very good,
tough,
you can argue the
best. Yes, that might be the toughest division.
So, well, this is a battle, but I believe in Kyle Shanahan as much as I believe in Trey Lance.
Right.
So the combination of Kyle and Trey, I believe, will take them up a notch higher than Jimmy G is capable of because he's got too much mental scar tissue. He knows he's a turnover waiting to happen, and he also knows, man, I get beat up a lot.
Well, he's going to have to because you look at the quarterbacks in that division. Yep. Russell Wilson's at Seattle. Matthew Stafford's at the Rams. Kyler Murray's at Arizona. There are no, I mean, that's your division. So there are no easy games in that division. So I believe, Skip, this is the reason why they're going to start Jimmy G because he's a veteran presence. And they believe, because, Skip, just 2 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning team hadn't been good for a while. They got the #1 overall pick, and they knew they weren't going to be good.
Yep. Trey Lance is a very mature young man. Trey Lance is basically a gym rat. He is a film nerd. He loves to study tape the way Brady loves to study tape, or Peyton did. I think all those qualities will benefit him and escalate the process to the point that I will not be surprised at all if he does start game one. And people will be horrified by it. I'm sure some in 49er Nation will say, no, we can't do that until he shuts you up because he will make plays under fire.
The difference is I think Trey Lance's defense is better than what Peyton had in Indy. Peyton had some nice pieces. Peyton had Marshall Faulk and Marvin Harrison.
That'll work.
So it wasn't like he got 2 guys that was in the Hall of Fame, Skip. So it wasn't like he was playing with some bums on the offensive side. The defense wasn't very good. We know the 49ers defense will be outstanding.
Yep.
Kyle will scheme it up. It's going to be Jimmy G is going to have to play really well to keep this kid off the field. Now, Kyle says he's going to play at some point. Is it going to be a situation like they had in Baltimore, Skip? You remember when Lamar Jackson was there? They come in, give him 8-9 plays a game, a little this, a little that. And Flacco got hurt, and then they put him in. The offense was very, tailor the offense for him, and they ended up winning. As a matter of fact, they ended up winning the division because they got a home playoff game. San Diego, were they in LA then? They might have been in LA. They might have been in LA then. But anyway, they ended up winning that game. The Chargers won, but it was the launch. But it was him getting a few plays here and there, get his feet wet, get confidence, and then they took off. So that might be what happens with Trey Lance. He comes in, but it's hard, Skip, when you're a quarterback and you try to get a rhythm, and then you come out for an entire series to let another guy.
Agreed. That's why I would start Trey Lance from the start.
I don't know about that, Skip.
No mercy. Devin Booker sat out the fourth quarter of the Suns' blowout loss to the Bucks, Game 3 of the finals, and now we have answers as to why. Monty Williams told Woj on his podcast that Booker was dealing with a hamstring injury and, quote, was basically playing out there on one leg. Shannon, what's your response to Monty saying Booker was hampered by an injured hamstring Game 3?
Yeah, that's one game. I get it. You're going to take up for your guy. I took him out. I thought something was wrong with it, but then I later tweeted, Skip, said, this is Monty saying, look, game's out of hand. Rest up for Game 4, big fella. We good. But what they got to do with the rest? What they got to do with the rest of the series? One game, okay, we're gonna throw game 3 away. No more. Devin Booker came back and had a 42-point game and a 40-point game in games 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. So what was wrong with his hamstring then? Devin Booker averaged more points in the finals than he did in the regular season. Chris Paul averaged more points in the finals than he did in the regular season. Chris Paul was 16-9, and people thought he should have been the MVP. He was 22-8 in the finals. You lost this series because of your unwillingness to change your defensive strategy. You let Giannis go 35, 13, and 6 in 4 of the last game. He had a 41-point, a 40, and a 50 closeout. That was the difference. It ain't got nothing to do with Devin Booker's or hamstring. Don't do that. I get you trying to take up for your guy. You take up for your guy in game 3. You say, Devin, you know, his hamstring will bother him a little bit in game 3. We ended up losing, and I saw that we weren't going to be able to cover up any ground, but we still had a series to play. You can't tell me Devin Booker hamstring was bothering him after he dropped 42 in game 4 and 40 in game 5. That's bull jive. You lost this with Monty because for some reason you wanted to take the big guy, DeAndre Ayton, and play him head up with Giannis, and Giannis ate his lunch.
Yep.
That's what this is about.
The blueprint was right under your nose. You had seen what Toronto and Miami had done to Giannis. Build the wall.
Correct.
He said, no, I got one wall. I got a one-man 7-foot wall who got absolutely destroyed by Giannis.
No, he did. Giannis ate him up.
But I will say this. Monty Williams is not exaggerating about the hamstring going into game 3 because I was told by a very high-placed source, and I told you on the air several times, this is coming, and they are horrified over this, especially Chris Paul was devastated because it looked like that Devin would not even be able to go in game 3. And I think we have a clip just to verify this, that I did say this on the air, this is ahead of game 3. The harder I look at game 3, everything that could have gone wrong for Phoenix went wrong.
Okay.
And it started with Devin Booker. He was suffering from hamstring tightness coming off game 2 into game 3, and he wasn't quite right. It was plaguing him to some extent. Okay, that was actually after game 3.
Right.
I was going into. I also said it on the Friday because it was a Sunday night game. But I told you on Friday they feared that he's going to be hampered by the hamstring. Well, clearly it wasn't a tear or he would have been done, right?
Skip.
He was able to play some until Monty said, okay, that's enough when they were hopelessly behind going to the fourth quarter.
Skip, the man dropped 82 points in the next 2 games,
though. Because they had 3 days and then 3 days. Each game they had 3 days to get ready.
Well, then why are you making the series about you lost because of that one game? Skip, I could see if it was a 7-game series and he hurt his hamstring and going into game 7, he wasn't himself.
It was the truth. They were very concerned about his hamstring. But in the end, I completely concur with your big picture takeaway. There's no reason to try to use this as a crutch or an excuse because in the end, it was not an excuse because he bounced right back from it. So it couldn't have been anything but a little tweak.
He dropped 42 the next game and then followed that up with a 40-piece.
Yep.
But it was you deciding we're not, even after Chris Paul says we got to find a way to build a wall, we got a way to keep Giannis.
He said that. He used the phrase, we got to find a way to build a wall.
And somehow, for some reason, you let Giannis in 4 of the last 5 games get 41, 40, and a 50. So what did Devin Booker's hamstring have to do with that?
Absolutely nothing, and I was very disappointed in Monty, and I didn't listen to the whole podcast, so I don't know if he just made a little thing of this or if he made it out to be the whole thing.
The thing is that you saw other teams the way they nullified Giannis.
Yep.
You going one-on-one is not the way to nullify Giannis.
I told you it was the worst strategy I've ever seen by a head coach in the finals.
I agree.
Thank you.
No mercy. The Nets already have their big 3, but 27th overall pick Cam Thomas is making a case for a big 4 as he lights up the Summer League. Thomas scored 36 to beat the Spurs yesterday, including 14 in the 4th, and is currently leading the Summer League in scoring. Impressive. So, Shannon, how much better will he make the Nets?
Skip, well, I'm not going to do a whole lot of handstands of a guy that's playing really well in the Summer League. He played well, averaging 27, shooting 10 free throws a game. And he's viewed as an off-the-bench scorer. But the acquisition that they made that's going to help them immensely is Patty Mills. Those shots that Joe Harris was missing against the Bucks, That won't happen. After what I saw him do, go get 42 skip in the bronze medal game, and I've seen him on the biggest of stages, Patty Mills, not Cam Thomas, is going to be the big reason the Nets.
The rich just got richer. You have 3 of the greatest scorers ever. You add Patty Mills, and you add a kid who's showing he's a natural-born scorer, leading the Summer League at 27 a game after you stole him out of LSU with the 27th overall pick.
Right.
Every time I turn on a Summer League game, he's lighting up because he just knows how to get to the free throw line.
He's
averaging 10 free throws a game, and that's how he's doing. But listen, late in games, he just says, give me the ball and get out of the way, and I will score it.
So off the bench, he can possibly help, but I believe Patty Mills will have a bigger contribution, a bigger role.
Immediately.
Yeah.
All right.
Patty Mills can flat out score.
All right. That
He's
is
a
it for Undisputed. Great stuff. Skip Shannon. We'll see you back here same time tomorrow morning. The Herd is on now. Have a good rest of your day.